Hello, how's everyone doing today? So, what we're going to be talking to you today about is a partnership that Microsoft has working with very closely with NIST, with National Institute of Standards and Technologies, with Center for Internet Security, Tony's there in the front, as well as Department of Homeland Security, and we also have some universities that are participating in the program as well to help give us that academic perspective. So my name is Mark Simos. I'm lead architect in our cybersecurity group at Microsoft. And Kevin?
I'm Kevin Stein. I lead our applied cybersecurity work at NIST in partnership with organizations like Microsoft and other colleagues across the government and industry.
Yep, and we're going to tell you a little bit about the partnership today, how it works, what we're trying to accomplish, and quite frankly, we're simply trying to solve the patching problem. And I know the word simply sounds like it's a bit of an overpromise, but we're genuinely trying to go after that problem in a meaningful way. So, when we look at cybersecurity hygiene, obviously we're on the show floor at RSA, and even for those of you that aren't here physically, that are watching the recording of this, there's a lot of talk of capabilities, of new ideas, fresh technology, applying those to that. That's a very important part of cybersecurity. It's a critical element to be solving a lot of the problems that we deal with on the risk side. But there's also a hygiene element. There's a lot of things that we've known to do for 10 or 20 years that are super critical for us to actually solve, but they're also pretty hard. And so we're going to talk today about how we're trying to tackle this together, and we're going to be asking for your help and your participation in solving these problems. So ultimately, cybersecurity hygiene is as simple in concept as washing your hands. However, it's a little bit more difficult. Anyone here ever tried to patch 100,000 plus machines? It's a little bit challenging. So we understand that. We recognize how important it is because we see the same issues in breach after breach, issue after issue, incident after incident. You see it in the WannaCrypt, the Petya. You see it in the advanced attacks. It's always there, but it's very, very hard to fix. And so that's what we're working on, is helping solve those kind of issues. So ultimately, the purpose that we're setting out to do as a working group is, one, to get some attention so that people notice that these organizations are working together, who all have this common purpose, because it's that important. But we're really trying to drive that ecosystem resiliency to improve our ability as an industry to protect the assets that we need to protect against these attackers. And what we're zeroing in on here is a couple different elements. And we actually had a really productive working group yesterday where we had a lot of input from a lot of different folks, including some container experts and some other security vendor experts. And we had a really good understanding that we developed on how to solve this problem. And the things that we're going after first are what to do first. We know this is a challenge. There's a lot of guidance that says, hey, this is good to do for cybersecurity. But there's not a lot of guidance that says what to do specifically in this order: first, next, beyond that. So we're focused heavily on that, and we're also, and we have some work to share on that we're going to point you to. And we're also recognizing that how to be successful end to end is also a challenge. So even if I know I have to patch and I know it's my top priority, I need to know how to do it so that I can actually be successful at patching. And so that's another element of it, and that's Kevin's going to be talking us through the NCCOE process, where we're going to be going through and working on that particular part of the problem. And of course, we want to connect it to existing standards. So if you have a compliance set of requirements you have to meet, you want to absolutely get credit for what you're doing so that you're getting that double credit, not only security against the bad guys and the incidents, but also the connection to existing standards so you can get that credit, and also leverage the wisdom that's in those. So this is an example. We're not going to go through all of these. This is the first piece of work. So in the wake of WannaCrypt and Petya, we took it upon ourselves at Microsoft, and then we quickly realized it's kind of dumb for us to do this by ourselves at Microsoft. And so we started working with this group to identify, okay, what do customers really need to do to not be in the situation of being nailed by WannaCrypt and Petya. And it's not a magic silver bullet. It's actually a set of steps, many of which we've known for a long time. And so we put a lot of time and investment into that. We worked with the group to validate and make sure everybody agrees that yes, these are the right things, this is the right order, this will have the effect. And we published it out there on AKMS Rapid Attack. You're welcome to go check this out and follow this guidance. We really want people to be following this so they don't fall victim to it. We've actually, a number of us have visited some of the victims of those attacks, and it is a very difficult emotional thing to think about and see and witness an entire enterprise really being brought to its knees. It was a very, very difficult situation. We do not want people to be in that again. So please follow this guidance, check it out, spread the word. So Kevin, you want to cover the
perfect.
process there? Yep.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. So again, I'm Kevin Stein from NIST, lead our applied cybersecurity work. And I think as Mark mentioned, he's absolutely right. We have serious or complex cybersecurity challenges that are impacting our businesses and our organizations' abilities to accomplish our mission and our business objectives. And we know that there are many standards, many best practices, and different types of technologies that are available in the market today that can, if integrated in the right way, can help us to address some of these complex challenges, not just from the technology perspective, but really from the process perspective. And I think one of those challenge areas is patching, as a dimension of critical hygiene. So absolutely important capability. Our focus at the National Cybersecurity Center of Excellence, or the NCCOE at NIST, is to work with business process owners, organizations, kind of the practitioner level, to understand the business challenges that they're facing from a cybersecurity perspective, to work with the solution providers, the vendors, the organizations that are developing the products and the technologies that can be brought to bear to help address these challenges. And working together in a collaborative environment at the NCCOE to integrate these different solutions, standards-based approaches and solutions, to help build out example solutions to help address some of these challenges that organizations are facing. You have the clicker. Thank you. So our operating model at the center is a pretty simple one, if you will. We start off by defining the problem, and it's really sessions like this one and the one that Mark referenced that we had yesterday to help get feedback from folks to help us define the problem in a way that is going to be meaningful to the community and is going to be something that we can achieve using the suite of standards and best practices and technologies that are available today. That again, if integrated in the right way, can be brought to bear to help produce some example solutions and references that will help you to achieve your objectives. We seek to assemble a team. We seek to assemble folks that are experiencing these challenges, that want to have a better patch management process and the patch capability in place for their organizations, and have experiences that can be brought to bear to help inform our efforts, and be able to take the solutions and the examples that we produce and kind of take those, kick the tires, and improve their processes and provide us that feedback. That also includes the vendor community that has the different types of solutions and capabilities that can be integrated in a way that can help to produce a more holistic solution and capability. After we assemble our team, we go into kind of the build mode, the build phase, if you will, where we work in our lab with the different vendors and the business process owners, the organizations, to build out the example solutions, to kind of integrate the actual products and technologies, and the standards and best practices in a way to prove out an example solution. And we document this very meticulously so that a practitioner can take the final output from this effort and replicate it within their environment down to the bits and bytes, the little configurations and the little configs that we flip the switches on to make these things interoperate in a meaningful way and hopefully produce the intended outcome that we're trying to achieve here. And after we complete the build and issue the guideline, in this case it's a practice guide coming out of NIST in our 1800 series of resources, we go into kind of advocacy mode, if you will. It's not something that you can just put out there and let it speak for itself. We want to go out and share this resource with folks, talk about it, understand your challenges and your implementations, be able to provide input to you on how you could take these resources or others and help to address your challenges. And then also have a kind of that feedback loop so that you can provide information to us about your experiences and what worked and what didn't in an effort to improve not just these types of resources, but also the broader standards and the technologies that are being developed to address some of these complex cybersecurity challenges that we're facing.
So, thanks, Kevin. So, this is just a quick snippet of some of the work that we've been doing in this space. The intent is that when we provide these solutions out of the NCCOE process, is we want to provide something that's useful, something that's actionable, that I can take and say, you know what, this is my template for my patching process, and I need to make sure I have all these components, and I happen to have this vendor. Did they go in the lab and test it? Great. Here's my instructions on how to do that. Here's my template process of what I do on the phase one, on the day one of patching. What do I do on the next day, the day after that? So we're really trying to get that level of utility and the level of detail so that people can actually go forth and check their program against it, measure against this reference, and build a new program. As I know, many organizations are just building their own security departments. So really driving towards that actionability to help with that. Just a couple notes, because we do have a few moments here. We are focused in this first effort on the technical pieces necessary to patch across a typical enterprise. We are putting operational technology and unpatchable stuff. We're not dealing with that in a lot of detail. We're actually going to make that more of an isolation strategy. So if you have access to the internet, either directly or via the intranet, you have to patch. If not, the recommendation is isolation. Here's the criteria on how to actually isolate and do it correctly. So that's the scope of the first one. We know that there's a lot of pain in managing and patching the OT space, but that's going to be for more of a future effort. It's currently out of scope for this first one. We want to get the IT and the IT related and IT looking stuff solved first. And so we're really approaching it from that perspective, from unmanaged and mobile to the managed, which is kind of the bulk of the devices you deal with. Network devices we're bringing into scope, which is something that isn't addressed with a lot of patching programs. We want to push that envelope. All the elements of the patching solution, not just what it requires to patch, but also how do you secure that, because these are often powerful systems that the adversaries can weaponize. So we want to make sure that we're including the standards on securing those. And then of course all the elements in the back-end data center, from the VMs to the containers to the hosts as well. So really trying to address that level of scope in the first version of the effort. Make sense? Okay, I got a few head nods, cool. And so, last piece here, Kevin, you want to cover that?
So again, everything we do at NIST is done in a very open and transparent and inclusive way, and it's intended to really, bring folks in, understand their challenges, be able to receive your operational experiences to essentially inform the process here, and in all of our standards and guidelines, help to inform the development to make them more meaningful and useful. And this project is no exception. We certainly are looking for your thoughts and your inputs to help not just scope this project, as we've discussed it so far, provide your inputs on that and how we could improve this effort. And then certainly in every step along the way, reviewing the different resources that we'll put out around this patching effort that we're starting here, including some of the questions and things that are referenced up here. Certainly would be eager to get your feedback on these. You can definitely reach out to us through the email address at the top, cyberhygiene@nist.gov, and provide that information, and also use that as kind of a mechanism to stay engaged with us. And we commit to working with any and all that are interested to take that feedback and improve the process.
Absolutely. And if you guys hadn't read into it, we're really looking for bright spots. If you feel like you did something that really works well, you've got a good process, you've got a good set of strategies or something that works, we're really looking for that, because we want to get the bright spots from the community and share with all through this process. So with that, we'll go ahead and take questions. Okay, no questions from the audience, so we'll take them afterward on the stage. Oh, I'm sorry. We are looking the question is, are we looking at IoT and others? Yes, we are very much looking at that, and we're going to do as much as we can in terms of at least guidance and principles, but we recognize that we can't do all of that. We don't want to hold up this first. So that's very much top of mind for the next work. So thank you, good question. All right, with that, we'll close up. We'll take questions on the stage afterwards. Thank you, Kevin, and thank you everyone that's watching. Thank you.